truly saddens me that this story hasn't got a lot more traction. Think about this. Imagine in Russia that a Russian soldier in uniform outside of his barracks was stabbed in broad daylight purely for dedicating his life to the country by a foreigner who was invited to be a law-abiding guest of the Federation. Imagine the patriotism that you would see in full display as the Russian state punishes that man. The face of the soldier would be all over the news. He would be a hero for dying for the country. But in the West, no. Anyone who signs up for the army, which is few and far between, and is prepared to sacrifice their life for the state of Great Britain now fears walking the street because they might be stabbed at random. And if they die, nobody will care. Legacy media don't care. I don't see any protests. The people of England don't seem to care. Nobody cares. The foreigners turn up and do whatever they want. That's now the situation you live in inside of Great Britain. Even if you are a soldier prepared to die for the state, they do not care about you at all. They care more about not appearing to be racist. The legacy media stick up for the foreigners. The foreigners can arrive on boats unchecked without passports. They don't even have to follow immigration law. They can break law from the second they arrive. You know, if you arrive in a country by breaking the law, what would inspire you to then follow the law from that point forward? I don't think there's much that would inspire you, especially if you're the kind of person who comes from a war zone and you're not afraid of fucking jail, especially if you grew up in a world of violence. That's what's happening in the UK right now. And this story has basically no traction. Nobody seems to care. People of the West, you get very angry when I remind you of this fact. Last time I made a tweet about white people not having kids. They had full-on mental breakdowns and their grand delusions of mass deportation garbage. It's not your country anymore. The media, the politicians, the police, everyone panders to the foreigners because they are afraid of being called racist. The police will not enforce the law against them. Immigration will not enforce the law against them. Legacy media will not insult them or slander them in any way, no matter how heinous their crimes. And there was a young British man who loved England, who joined the army with the intention of defending England, who was killed in broad daylight on the street by somebody who is not British, and nobody gives a fuck. Isn't that truly sad? You talk about the fall of a nation. I can't think of much else. Literally and figuratively, since the dawn of human time, the hill to die on was always for your land and for your women and for your people. That's why men died. We only went to die to protect the women and our land. Our women, our land, stay away. And now, even if you want to do that, even if you sign up to defend the state, there's no point because they invite the enemy to live amongst you. And not only do they live amongst you, they contribute nothing to society. They live off your tax dollars. That's right, people of Great Britain, you pay 50% taxes so you can afford for them to have endless children and outbreed you. You are paying for your own replacement in real time. And if you point this out, the media attack you. The media have been attacking me relentlessly for 3 years, but they struggle to tie racism along with my name because I am a mixed race person. I'm half black, half white, half American, half English, Islamic revert. It's very difficult for them to tie me with racism. So I get to say these things when most people think them and are afraid. But if you're afraid to even talk, how will action ever be taken? This soldier's face should be all over the news. He should be recognized as a hero, and the piece of shit which killed him for basically no reason other than his patriotism should be suffering the full extent of the law. And not just a nice cozy jail cell where he can fuck the prison guard. No, he should be suffering genuine consequence for the disgusting things he's done in any serious country. But I guess Great Britain isn't a serious country anymore. Kind of interesting how the BBC and every single news article was writing about how I'm the danger to society. I'm bad for women, and Andrew Tate is encouraging violence. A man with no criminal record, by the way. I've never been convicted of any crime in my entire life, 37 years old. Clean record to this day. And an accusation is not guilt. Anybody with a brain understands how corrupt the legal systems are. And here we are, inviting immigrants in who rape women at random, who stab soldiers at random, with no intention of protecting the borders or stopping these people from coming, and the BBC decides to report about me or anyone else who has the balls to mention it, as opposed to the problem themselves. They want to talk about the people who point out the symptoms as opposed to fix the illness. Absolutely corrupt state, absolutely corrupt leadership, disgusting. And the fact that this is not huge news shows that not only is the state corrupt, but the soul of the British people has been broken to the point where you are no longer even surprised. Your soul has been crushed, which is exactly what the Matrix wants. There's not enough Englishmen to stand up and say, this is outrageous, this must stop, this can never happen again, because your spirit is broken. And that's what they want to do to the men first. Break their spirit so they no longer resist. After that, there is nothing left but total enslavement. As Napoleon said, fatigue makes cowards of us all, and it seems the British men, the very few that are left with any kind of balls, are tired. It's over.